Hi guys, it's Shell, Sunbury Housewives. Welcome back to another video. If you're new to our channel, thank you so much for stopping by. Hit the subscribe button to see future videos. I post new videos every Wednesday and Saturday. Today, I am working on a really fun, cute Halloween tumbler. So let's go ahead and get started. So I'm starting with, a 20-ounce sublimation tumbler. And I marked the bottoms because I'm going to do a split. So half of it's going to have this really fun vinyl. That's what I'm looking for. So I just took a piece of paper, traced around the bottom so I could get the halfway point to get it as close as possible. It doesn't have to be exact perfect, but that's what I wanted to do. Then I'm going to take some painter's tape and make a line where I made those marks from one side of the tumbler all the way to the other, so that when I go to lay my vinyl, I know that it's going to be pretty even, and it also gives me a guide to cut off any excess vinyl that there may be. So right here I am just lining up my tape as straight as possible. Once I'm happy with how that is on, I'm taking this vinyl. This is so cute. I got this from Timber Ridge Vinyls, I believe it is, and I'll stick it in the description box below. But here I'm just going to go ahead and measure the old-fashioned way, lining it up, making a mark on the backing of the sheet so that I can cut off only what I need. And then I'm just using my little cutter here, whatever this thing's called. I cannot think of what it's called, but it's a cutter. And then lining up to cut off the excess on the bottom, which the excess that I cut off on the bottom I will use a little later. So now that I have the size that I need, I'm just going to go ahead and apparently fix my tape yet again. Okay, now I guess I'm happy. Nope, I'm not. Was not happy. Okay, maybe now I'm happy. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just measuring it again, apparently. Now I'm going to just pull back a little bit of that vinyl to line up onto my tape. And I'm going to go over the tape just a little bit so that when I do cut off the excess, I'll have a very nice crisp line. Which, spoiler alert, I suck at cutting straight lines, so it wasn't perfect, but I knew I'd be laying some vinyl striping down and it would cover that. So I just take my squeegee and smooth that out. I had absolutely no bubbles. And then you can see I'm taking my fingernail and going along that tape line so that I know where to cut. And I'm just going slowly. I mean, this is sped up, so it looks like I'm going faster than I really am. Once that's all cut off, then I just pull that tape up and along with the excess vinyl that I had cut. And doing the same exact thing on the other side. I'm pulling up the excess around the rim so that I could cut it off and have a very clean cut. I just take my knife and go around the top, and then I'll do it again and hold my knife at a 45-degree angle and just enough to expose a little bit of that rim so that when we go to epoxy, the epoxy has something to stick to. Once I get that done, I'm going to move to the bottom and I'm going to smooth this out as much as possible. And I do use my heat gun to get out any wrinkles or any bubbles, and it lays down actually very nicely. And I didn't need to trim off any because it was already to where I wanted it. So once I get that smoothed down, I am going to take more painter's tape and tape off just the edges of the vinyl side so that I can paint, do any trimming that is necessary, because I'm going to paint the bottom and the side that is not got the vinyl on it. And I'm going to paint it ombre, or attempt to paint it ombre. No, I do. It actually turns out really good to match the ombre that is on the vinyl side. So once I get that done and cut, I do use electrical tape along the bottom because it does curve nicely. So I was able to have that curve without having to piece together. So the first paint I'm going to go in with is this ceramic coat, like a seafoam mint color, and then a purple acrylic paint. And I'm going to start with the seafoam and paint the entire bottom, and then partway up the tumbler, I'm doing a like mint purple ombre back and forth. So I just kind of do the rough estimate first to get it kind of mapped out where I want everything to be. And then I will go back in ombre once I am done with that. And by doing that, I just dip my one end of the brush into that mint color and the other end into the purple and ombre it out. And now I'm going back to the green, and we'll do that same thing. And then at the very top, I go back in with purple. And then I will go back and fill in the colors a little better just to make it more solid, because I don't want those huge white streaks showing when I go to glitter. So I'm just working on the ombre until I'm happy with it. And of course I mess up there. Thankfully that mint was already dry and I could just go back in and wipe it off. Once I'm happy with how that looks, I am going to let that set off to dry. And once it's dry, I come in with just 5 milliliters of epoxy. Of course, I'm not going to use all of it, but that's the least amount that I can mix up accurately. So I'm going to put a very, very thin layer of this epoxy all over everywhere I've just painted. As you can see, my paint job was not perfect, but it didn't need to be, because the glitter will cover most of it, and I kind of liked how it looked a little lighter and darker. I just didn't want the huge white streaks in there. So once I get all of the epoxy on, I will let that settle for just a few minutes to level out. And then I'm going in with Ducky from Glitter Heart Co. And I'm going to start ombreing the glitters. So I start with Ducky, and I do the entire bottom and then just that little bottom piece. And then I'm going to tilt my tumbler up, the bottom up, that is, and let Ducky cascade into the purple. And then I move up to the next teal and do the very center really heavy, and then I will tilt my tumbler both directions to let those ombre into the purple as well. And then I will grab my purple glitter and do the exact same thing on the purple stripes, starting in the middle heavy and then ombreing down into the mint and up into the mint. I'm not worried yet for perfection because I will go back in and do a second layer just to continue that ombre into each other. And I'm loving just this first go around, how nice it looks. So I'm tapping off any excess and then go back in with Ducky and do the same thing with filling any spots that I may have missed and then ombreing into the purple just to make sure that it worked. Apparently I didn't record that entire part, but once I get all that done, I will remove the tape immediately. You do not want this tape to stick when the epoxy is dry. It'll be really impossible or a real pain in the butt to get off. So I just carefully, because I do not want my vinyl to lift, I just carefully remove the painter's tape and kind of pull away at an angle, if that makes any sense. And I don't know if I show it. I kind of did. But any vinyl any tumbler part that is exposed because I didn't get the glitter on it will be covered with a vinyl striping later. So I tapped that off and I did seal it with 2 coats of epoxy, and then I did add a circle on the bottom of this gorgeous design, and now I'm going to stripe. So I just cut out these holographic vinyl that matched really well. And I'm putting one on either side of the stripes. And then I take it down as much as I can before cutting off right there at the edge of where the vinyl ends. And then I'm going to cut off the top as well, just below where the stainless is exposed, so that it has a very good seal once I do epoxy. Once I get all the striping done, I will move to the other side to put on this decal that I found from Creative Fabrica, and it just says "Feeling Spooky," and I thought that was super cute. So I just did an offset of this holographic vinyl and use a very light mint colored vinyl on top. And of course, I needed to set up my tumbler so that I knew that I was getting it on straight before I applied the decal. So that's why we're looking down the center of the tumbler arm. But once I get it laid down and even, I just, of course, eyeballed it per usual. And once I'm satisfied with where it is, apparently I wasn't satisfied. So once I am satisfied where it is, I will pull off the backing of that decal and lay it down onto the tumbler and smooth it out, and then remove the transfer tape. And how adorable is this so far? I love it. So I am going to go ahead and seal all of the vinyl work that I just laid down with a coat of the CC DIY Quick Coat. Let that dry and then add 2 final coats of epoxy. And then this beauty will be done. And here it is. I don't know what happened to my video and I cannot get it to fix. But here it is all done. I absolutely love how this turned out. I love how the one side is so simple because the other side is so busy. And this vinyl is just amazing. Please check out the description box below for everything that I used today. And this will be available on the website if you would like to purchase. Thank you so much for watching. Give this video a great big thumbs up. And I will see you guys next time. Bye, guys.